They say family is forever, but what happens when yours decides you're not worth a seat at the table? My name is Claire Sullivan, and on an ordinary Saturday morning, my world shifted with a single phone call. What was supposed to be a gift for my father's 60th birthday turned into the beginning of something else entirely. A road trip, a rebellion, and a quiet war fought not with shouting, but with silence. And a camera. This isn't just a story about a car, it's about what happens when you stop asking for permission to matter. Ready to see what happens when someone takes the wheel of their own life? Let me show you. Saturday morning sunlight spilled into Claire Sullivan's apartment as she opened the blinds and cradled her mug of coffee. Portland was calm, quiet, the kind of day she usually cherished, but something in her chest felt off. Like a weight she hadn't noticed until the world went still. Her phone buzzed. Mum flashed across the screen. Claire smiled automatically and answered, "Hi, Mum, I thought I'd be seeing you at Dad's party next week." Eleanor's voice came through soft but distant. "Claire, your father and I love you very much, but the birthday party, it's more of a corporate affair. We've had to trim the guest list." Claire sat up straighter. "And I didn't make the cut?" There was a pause. "Nathan and Rachel will still be there," Eleanor said. "They're connecting with our business partners. And you never like parties, right?" Claire's voice tightened. "Funny. I didn't know you and Dad decided what I liked." Suddenly, her father's voice chimed in, louder, firmer. "Claire, be reasonable. This isn't personal. You're not involved in the company. Your siblings are." Her breath caught. She'd always suspected this division, but hearing it aloud made it real. "You never even asked if I wanted to be." Without another word, she ended the call. The coffee in her mug had gone cold. A loud honk echoed from the street below. Claire walked to the window. Her heart sank. Parked in front of her building was the black SUV she had spent 2 years saving for, a gift she'd planned to surprise her father with for his 60th. She had skipped vacations, worked late nights, and sent a note to the dealership months ago, "Please deliver it on his birthday." Now, it sat there, glossy, immaculate, She stepped outside in silence, signed the paperwork, and laid her hand gently on the hood. "You were supposed to be his, but he doesn't want you, so now you're mine." Later, inside the vehicle, Claire stared at the steering wheel. Her fingers hovered over her phone screen before she dialed. "Jenna, are you free? Bring your camera. I'm keeping the car, and I'm getting the hell out of here." Chapter 2. The First Taste of Freedom. Jenna Hartley pulled up to Claire's apartment an hour later, camera bag in tow. Her jaw dropped the second she saw the SUV. "This was a birthday present for your dad?" she asked, circling it. "You're really keeping it?" Claire gave a half smile. "Yeah. And I'm driving it as far as it'll take me." Jenna blinked. "We're doing a road trip?" "Across Oregon. Maybe into California," Claire said. "No plans, just peace and photos." They packed in minutes. Jenna, ever the artist, couldn't resist taking a shot of Claire leaning against the SUV, sunglasses on, lips slightly curled in defiance. Claire uploaded it to Instagram with the caption, "A gift for someone who didn't want it. So I'll enjoy it myself." By sunset, the post had exploded. Dozens of comments poured in. "What happened? Where are you going? Spill the tea, queen." The next morning, they hit the road. The SUV glided along mountain curves as if it had been waiting its whole life to be free. At Eagle Crest Viewpoint, the landscape opened wide, a sea of pines rolling into misty hills. Claire stood at the edge, wind in her hair. Jenna took the shot. Claire turned to the camera, voice soft but resolute. "They never picked me. So I picked myself." Their next stop was Crater Lake. The water mirrored the sky, deep and undisturbed. Jenna set up her tripod. "Do you think your family even cares?" she asked. Claire didn't hesitate. "No, but they'll be angry. That's how I know it matters." She posed atop the SUV, lakeside behind her. A new post followed. "If they don't value the gift, let someone who does make use of it." That evening, around a campfire, Jenna opened up. "I once cut off my mom. She didn't believe art was a real job. Now she hangs my prints in the hallway." Claire chuckled, a little bitter. At least she learned, mine still thinks silence is love. Jenna looked at her friend, finally free, finally visible, and raised a toast with her water bottle. "To the road," she said. Claire smiled. To the gift they didn't deserve. Claire's photo sunglasses on, leaning confidently against the gleaming black SUV, had begun making rounds on social media. What started as a small post had now been reshared by a popular architecture influencer who captioned it, "Redefining independence, 1 mile at a time." That one share turned into dozens. The comments rolled in quickly, some curious, others awed. Her captions were subtle, pointed, and laced with unspoken pain. Clues for those paying attention. People began asking the same question: what's going on inside the Sullivan family? Back at her apartment, Claire's phone rang again. It was her mother. Eleanor's voice was tight, irritated. "Claire, you're making us the talk of the town. Take the posts down. Now." Claire didn't raise her voice. "I'm expressing how I feel. You always told me to protect the family image, but I'm done being just part of the wallpaper." Not long after, Rachel texted, "You're tearing everything apart. You need to stop." Claire stared at the message, expression unreadable, and didn't reply. Then came a call that surprised her. Robert Whitmore, the company's largest investor. His tone was direct. "I've seen the photos, the captions. I wanted to hear from you. What happened?" Claire kept her voice steady as she laid everything bare. No drama, no exaggeration, just truth. There was a long pause. "I see," Robert said. "I'll be reevaluating my place in your father's company." At the Sullivan office, chaos brewed. Thomas paced, phone in hand. "We just lost the Henderson account. One damn photo and Bob's out." He turned on Eleanor. "She's just an architect. Why would he believe her over me?" Eleanor's voice was calm but sharp. "Maybe because she's the first one brave enough to say what others won't." Within the company, whispers began to spread. "Claire once proposed that eco-home project, remember?" Thomas shut it down immediately. "She's actually really talented. It's a shame they never took her seriously." Behind closed doors, the image of the perfect Sullivan family began to crack, and the ripple Claire started had only just begun. Chapter 4. The family crumbles, freedom rises. Claire walked into the leasing office of her building, only half surprised when concierge Ben Morales pulled her aside. "Hey, Miss Sullivan, 2 people tried to get into your apartment yesterday," he said. "They looked like family, carrying spray cans. Loud, aggressive. We stopped them." Claire's stomach dropped, but her voice stayed firm. "Thank you, I need the locks changed immediately, and please don't let anyone related to me into this building without my approval." Later that evening, while Claire sat in a quiet diner in Monterey with Jenna, a very different scene played out at the Riverside Grill and Lodge. The Sullivan birthday celebration had begun. Crystal glasses, expensive lighting, curated floral arrangements. But the ballroom was nearly empty. Only 15 guests had shown, many of them awkward and distracted. Half the seats were bare. Thomas scanned the room, anger turning into unease. "Where is everyone?" Rachel tried to cover the tension. "Maybe traffic's bad." Thomas narrowed his eyes. "No, they're staying away, they've heard." Missing from the event were 2 key names, Robert Whitmore and Pastor Williams. The absence wasn't subtle, it was a message. Back in the diner, Claire bit into a burger, laughter dancing in her eyes as Jenna snapped a photo. "Not every celebration needs fireworks," Jenna said. "Sometimes all you need is a friend and a damn good burger." Claire smiled, her voice soft but sure. "This is the first time I've felt free in years." But her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. A message from Rachel appeared. "Everything's falling apart because of you. I hope you're happy." Then an email from Nathan. Subject: "You wanted revenge. You got it." Claire deleted them both. No reply, no hesitation. She opened her contacts and removed their names. Clean, final. Back at the lodge, Thomas stood by the window, staring at the untouched birthday cake. Eleanor approached quietly. "Do you think we've lost her for good?" Thomas didn't answer. He just stared into the night, the reflection of his own choices staring back at him through the glass. Claire had barely set her coffee down when her phone buzzed again. This time it was Aunt Ginny, her mother's older sister, staunch, proud, and painfully traditional. The call opened without pleasantries. "You're embarrassing the entire family, Claire," Ginny snapped. "What you're doing. It's disgraceful." Claire didn't flinch. "I'm just refusing to play background in a performance that's never felt real. If that's shameful, so be it." After the call, she sat in silence inside her small motel room in Monterey Bay. The walls were thin, the bed creaked, but for once she felt like she wasn't suffocating. She scrolled through the messages she hadn't answered, guilt, blame, pleading. Her hands trembled. A quiet thought echoed in her mind. Am I burning everything down or finally clearing the wreckage that's been there all along? The next evening, a knock echoed from her apartment door in Portland. Mrs. Grayson, her landlady, called through the intercom. "There's a gentleman here, says his name is Robert Whitmore. He's waiting in the lobby." Claire's breath caught. She had never met Robert in person, only knew him as her father's most respected investor. Still, she told Mrs. Grayson to let him up. When the door opened, she found herself facing a tall, composed man in a grey blazer, dignified but warm. "I want you to know something," he said calmly. "You weren't the reason I pulled my investment, but you were the reason I realized I should have done it sooner." Claire blinked, stunned. "You're not angry?" Robert shook his head. "Claire, I admire you. Standing your ground when the ground beneath you is pulled away, that takes more strength than most people will ever understand." She couldn't help it. The tears came fast, quiet and hot. The first she'd let fall this entire journey. A week later, Jenna opened her photography exhibition in Portland. Large-scale prints from their trip adorned the gallery walls. Claire's face, resolute, unflinching, became the centerpiece. Two women paused in front of one photo. "She doesn't look like someone trying to prove anything," one whispered. "She looks like someone who finally knows who she is." Chapter 6. Forgiveness and a Choice. 3 months had passed. Claire's life now moved to a different rhythm. Her new apartment was filled with sunlight and plants. She worked with a respected architectural firm, one that valued her ideas, not her last name. She spoke at a Women in Design panel where she shared her journey with grace and strength. Monterey Bay still called to her. On quiet evenings, she walked the shore alone, the SUV she once saved so fiercely for glinting in the fading sun. It no longer felt like a rejection. It felt like a turning point. Then came the message. Jenna met her at the studio, looking hesitant. "Your parents came by. They don't have your number, so they came to me." Claire nodded slowly, unsure of what she felt. She took a day to think, then another. Finally, she agreed to meet them at a small cafe by the river, far from where the hurt began. When Thomas and Eleanor arrived, they looked smaller somehow, weathered. Thomas spoke first, voice low. "I was blind, obsessed with appearances. I didn't see I was pushing you away." "I'm sorry." Eleanor's eyes welled up. "I thought you were strong. I didn't realize I was the one making you feel so alone." Claire held her coffee, measured. "I don't need things to go back to how they were. I need them to start over, but for real this time." They nodded. No promises, no performances, just a pause. Just a possibility. Later that week, Claire and Jenna drove along the Pacific coast, wind teasing their hair, music drifting from the speakers. "So," Jenna asked, "is this the end?" Claire smiled, eyes on the horizon. "No, this is the beginning. For the first time, I'm driving for me." The camera pulls back. The SUV glides down the coast road, smaller and smaller, until it disappears into the golden light, marking the end of the silence and the start of her freedom. Sometimes the most powerful journey we take isn't measured in miles, but in moments. Moments when we choose self-respect over approval, truth over tradition, and peace over perfection. Walking away doesn't always mean giving up. Sometimes it's the first step toward finally becoming visible in your own life. If this story stirred something in you, let it be a reminder. Your worth isn't defined by where you're welcomed, but by what you choose to walk toward. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, leave a comment, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that matter.